everybody, to Podcast Batching Day for Straight Talk with Sally. And we are bringing in soon our next guest for the day, who is a lovely lady here in Australia with me. Seems like I've done nothing but interview people from America recently, but it's nice to have an Aussie in the house. But our guest today, she helps entrepreneurs and small business owners to create content for their marketing, and it takes minutes using artificial intelligence. Now, Suzette Bailey is the CEO and co-founder of Simple Marketing AI, an Australian AI startup that generates unique content for businesses in under minutes and using simple key phrases and no templates. She has also built and operated a successful multi-million-dollar business in IT for over 21 years and delivers information, knowledge, and records. Oh, here we go. We'll just chop that bit out in the edit. Delivers information, knowledge, and records management expertise to government agencies and corporations. Suzette is awesome at setting up the AI to create content, and that's why I've asked her to join us today, because, well, I want to learn more about this whole world of AI, because, you know, I'm not somebody who enjoys writing, and if somebody can do it for me and is smarter than me and it's an AI and can put a voice to it, I'm really interested to know more. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming our new guest, Suzette Bailey. Oh, here we go. There she is. Hey, Suzette, how are you?
Oh, great. And it is great to actually be able to talk to an Aussie as well. I think the two of us talk to a lot of very early morning starts and things like that with the US. I love talking to the US and I love talking to the UK, but it is great when I talk to Aussies as well.
I know. It seems like, like 80% of our clients are in the US. And yes, I was always a nighttime and evening person. But since, the business has grown, most of our clients are over there, same as you, up early for the US, and then late for the UK, but most of ours are in the US. But it is nice to actually hear. Well, actually, my daughter says that my the way I speak has changed since I've started working more with Americans. I don't notice, but she tells me that it has. Anyway, Suzette, I'm super excited. Before we get stuck into learning more about content marketing and how to make it super easy and do it quick as a flash, tell me a little bit about yourself. What got you into this industry in the first place?
Well, I sort of fell into it because, like you, I like writing, but I was originally trained as a scientist in genetics and biochemistry, and then went into writing and doing a lot of work with the government and corporate sector. So you can pretty much imagine that not the best basis for marketing content. So I did a lot of courses, went to a lot of people and got a lot of theory. So was great on the theory around marketing and internet marketing particularly. But when I tried to actually do it myself, I bombed spectacularly and was quite devastated about it, and parked that for a while. Fast forward a few years later, and because of my interest in IT and information management in general, I've been keeping an eye on, artificial intelligence and where things, just because, I like to geek out a bit at times. And when I saw that AI technology had got to the point where it could write indistinguishably from a human, I saw that there was a great opportunity to take my knowledge of what I do for the bigger end of town, which is particularly in the interest in the area of information management, content, structures, all that sort of thing. Systems, love systems like you. So, and couple it with the artificial intelligence and my deep understanding of the pain that a lot of small businesses and entrepreneurs go through trying to write marketing copy for themselves when they don't, they're geniuses at what they do, but they're not, this is an entire sector that they need to learn. So, and that's how sort of Simple Marketing came about.
Wow. I look, when I first started doing marketing, it would have been really helpful for me if something was out there. I mean, I then went and learned all about marketing copywriting, but it's not a joy. It's not that thing I wake up in the morning and think, "Yay, I want to write copy." Um and I kind of wish it was around when I first started, but wow, what technology can do these days is just crazy amazing, right? Like when I first met you, I was so fascinated that a piece of software could actually write copy. And you said that it's not even like it's not it's no plagiarism and all of that type of stuff inside the copy. And it's when I was reading it, I mean, I'm sure there would be people who like live and breathe copywriting could probably see maybe, but I couldn't. It was indistinguishable to that an AI actually wrote some of this copy. So I'm fascinated to learn more about what the whole world of AI and copywriting is about. So tell me a little bit more about what's a nice quick way, I guess. Hang on, let's get into the content. So, whoop, knocking my microphone. It's all going on in our last interview of the day. Well, you have so many strategies available in regards to writing copy. So let's talk about how can we make writing copy easy, quick as a flash, as you like to say, and where do you find the inspiration for this?
For me, I do. So the AI absolutely makes it way easier. But even without the AI, there's a great way, and I call it the post-it note method. Some of you might already we already have a huge amount of knowledge already in our heads. We've got a whole lot of ideas, but sometimes we get stuck when we see that piece of paper or that blank screen in front of us going, okay, all those ideas just go out the window. So grab a post-it note. So if you don't have our platform, and I can give you a quick rundown of how you can use it in the platform in a minute. But if you haven't got grab a post-it note. Just write down all of the ideas and the things that you think of, but one per post-it note. Don't think there's no bad or good idea at this point. It's just an idea. Get it out of your head first. Then lay it all out and start grouping things together. So some things are going to be an overlap, or they're going to, more of a subtopic of a topic and that sort of thing. But you're going to start to see that there's a whole lot of information just already in your head that you just needed to get out. And then you can put and create a content plan from that. Well, from that, if you're using something like our platform, where we've got a thing called inspirations, this is where I love doing. I love taking some of those more crazy ideas that you've thought about and putting them into, or even some of the not so crazy, into the inspirations part of our website or our platform and getting it to generate. So one I use a lot as a bit of an example is entrepreneurs and cats. How entrepreneurs and cats are related. And it's, on the surface, totally not related. But the AI came up with, well, entrepreneurs are like cats because they both have 9 lives. So they go through this failure and they have to still pick themselves up and keep going. You only see them at night. They and started to riff and that sort of aspect. And they've both got lots of courage. And there was a whole lot of things that you could then, from that, I could build 4 or 5 different articles just on the how entrepreneurs are like cats and some of the characteristics that we share in common. So yeah, that could be a really great way to plan out your content. And if you do that, sit down for a few hours at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year, you can actually plan out your content themes for the entire year, have your topics underneath, and from this post-it note method on its own or in conjunction with the AI, and you've got your entire content plan for the entire year.
Oh, well, you're speaking my language. Post-it notes. Well, I just, bought a few thousand, like a massive box of Post-it notes. And I love to Post-it note and color code, and I map out courses and funnels with them. So anything that uses Post-it notes is a great idea to me. But I like how you were saying you can map them out with those Post-it notes, and then you can start to move them around and things may link together. And sorry, I think that's a great idea, especially if you're stuck for ideas, is, yeah, getting into those Post-it notes and sticking them out everywhere. And I'm going to jump into that software now, or not now, but later. I'm going to put in entrepreneurs and dogs because I'm a dog person. I want to see what it does.
Well, actually, it did actually bring up one around dogs as well.
Yep.
And it was about that entrepreneurs and cats, because you don't want a dog's life, the laid back
right.
life. So, but this is the thing, using technology like artificial intelligence, it understands, in this particular AI, it's sort of like, a digital version of us. It actually has a body of knowledge, and it has a whole lot of relationships within there. And we think of crazy things, and our brains relate crazy things together. Well, the AI can do the same thing. And this is a great way to get yourself out of a rut of writing about the same thing, or at least this, around the same topic, the same way each and every week, and boring your audience. Change it up a bit, and as you say, do entrepreneurs and dogs, or anything sort of like that.
Yeah, I think that's fabulous. And same, like I go and rewrite emails and repurpose previous done emails and content from, and it does start to feel like I'm just regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over again. So being able to have an AI give me additional inspiration as well, and yeah, just thinking of random things like what you said, that's definitely going to give me something to play with. Now, what sort of strategies do you suggest for people that, maybe they're stuck and they're not really sure? What other strategies can you suggest for them to help to generate content?
So look around, go and actually, sort of what your customers, or go to Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, all the social media channels. There's a wealth of knowledge there. I mean, ultimately, what you're doing is providing opinions on your particular niche. But see what people are actually resonating with, and use that as a basis to actually generate some ideas. I mean, you can also go to things like Keyword Planner in Google and some of the analytical software to actually tell you what people are searching for, because that's also really useful. YouTube videos, any of these sort of things. What other people, ultimately, when all said and done, as much as we'd like to say we're unique, it's great to align what we do to what is already popular. So there's a particular concept called newsjacking. If you're actually doing a lot of trying to get yourself into newspapers, or get press some publicity for yourself. So the concept of newsjacking is taking something topical and actually putting your spin or relating your business to it. Well, you can do the same thing with your content. If there's particular things like, there's the obvious ones like Mother's Day, Father's Day is coming up, all those sort of ones. But go and have a look at there's a day, every single day of the year, there is something on. And so there's going to be a day of the year that's relevant to your business. There's some content around that you can, sort of generate around particular days that are going to be, if you're like doing a lot of sustainability and green type orientated business, there's my birthday happens to have about 5 different days on it. It's apparently a very popular day. And one of them is the World Tree Day. So you could do some content around that, around World Tree Day, because you're doing the sustainability. And so start to think outside the box, because you're relating it to things that people are already looking for, but you're relating it to things that people are actually engaging with.
I love that. I have never thought of what happens on my birthday. I just started Googling it to see what sorts of things are the day, because I saw on Facebook yesterday it was International Dogs Day. Bringing it back to the dogs again. We love our fur babies here in the Sparkle world. But yesterday apparently was International Dogs Day. So yeah, there are so many different types of days that you could sort of plan around. That's a great strategy to start thinking about ideas. And then also, go to LinkedIn and all of the different places to help generate ideas. I mean, it can be really hard sometimes. I know when you have that feeling like, oh, I've got to make some kind of content today, and it's like, that's staring at a blank screen or a blank piece of paper. But having these strategies in mind, I think will be super, super helpful to the viewers out there. Now, anyone who is watching live as well, just know that you can actually ask any sorts of questions you like in the chat box, and we can certainly ask Suzette as well. So if you've got anything you want to know about how to create content, then certainly do ask. Now, what are some of your top tips that you can give for scheduling your content for publishing? Oh no, have we lost her? This is the awesomeness of streaming live. So it looks as though either I've lost her,
I'm here,
or is it my internet? I'm just going to ask my team who are in the background.
Just stop my video for a second. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Oh, look. Nice profile photo.
Okay. It's just currently, I'm just going to click.
That's okay. All good. Take your time. So this is what we call batching day, which means not everything works right the first time. So, hey, welcome to the live stream. And for anyone out there who's thinking of wanting to learn how to live stream,
It's
you don't have
always
to get
fun.
all fancy like this. We do have a live. I'm just filling the air right now. We have a live stream challenge running. Come to sparkleclassacademy.com/slay, SLAY, and we look like we're still on the red. Maybe log out and come back again.
Okay, just give me a second, and I'll do that. So I'll just.
It's all good. All right, Liz.
I'm trying to just connect to another internet.
All right, Dal. No worries. Okay, so let me just come back here. Let's see if my button's working. So we are just waiting for Suzette to come back, but I would love to hear anyone who has actually used the AI softwares before. I have had a bit of a play around since getting a chance to play inside of simplemarketing.ai that Suzette has, but we've got our social media content person in there at the moment playing around inside of the software. But just want to know out there, has anybody else actually used it or played around inside of it? I know from somebody who used to struggle with coming up with ideas for marketing, it used to be really, really hard. And I wish that it was available back in my day when I first started. I mean, now, if you don't know, I went live for 365 days straight. So I've got lots and thousands of pieces of content out there now that we can kind of dip into. But, when you're first starting out especially, and you need to send out newsletters and you haven't already written lots of things, these can be super, super helpful. All right, looks like we have Suzette back. Yay, she's moving a little bit more. Aha. All right, let's see if we come back. There we are. Kicking kids off the internet.
That is welcome to Australian internet. It's always fun.
And lockdown and stuff as well doesn't help when the kids are home all day using up all of your things.
That's the one.
Awesome. All right.
It's Friday afternoon. Something had to go wrong. It's the tech gremlins for you.
Well, that's it. It's nearly ready for wine time here for me, I think, anyway. So maybe after we finish this, we pull out a wine.
Indeed.
Awesome. All right. Well, okay. We'll just lead into the next question. We'll cut all of that stuff out for the actual edited version. So what would you say, Suzette, would be some of your top tips for scheduling your content for publishing?
So the first one is, so what we actually have in our platform is a calendar, but you can use the same thing outside. So you can visually see what what content you've got for the month. And also, potentially over the 12 months, if you're a little bit more organized, but at least try to get the month organized. And so you can use, if you're online, use something like ClickUp or Monday or Trello or something like that, where you can see a calendar view. You can use our platform to do it, or in your scheduling software. But if you're old school and you want to sort of do it on a piece of paper or something like that, have a calendar up on the wall, and maybe actually have post-it notes that you put up with all of the content that you're actually going to do. Those post-it notes that you had before, you can now put them onto the days and actually say, oh, okay, I've got a bit of a hole here. I need to work out what I'm going to talk about, and then sort of go from there.
That's a really good idea. I used to map out my content. I would put it into an Excel spreadsheet or on paper. But once I started actually laying it out in a calendar view scenario, I totally agree. You realize, oh, I've got too many pieces on this day, or not enough on that day, or I've done too many mindset ones in a row, and I should really do some, live or automation type stuff. So I do love that suggestion of having it actually in a calendar view. I think I'm quite a visual person as well. So I like to, post-it notes and coloring in and color code everything. But yeah, for me, I thought originally, just stick it in Excel or on a piece of paper. But that calendar view really does help quite a lot. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, very
So
much so. Because you're absolutely right. Because you could have things grouped together and just accidentally realize, have three posts very close together and go, oh, that's going to really bore my, or you do it on purpose. It might be that you have them too far apart and they need to be brought back together so you have a theme. So
yeah.
yeah, you can really play with it a lot.
Yeah, great suggestion there. All right, well, we're going to move into this sparkle section of the interview. This is where we ask sparkling style questions. Now, in the sparkle area, we ask you 3 different questions that make you think a little bit. So my first one, and also it's always super helpful to the viewers as well, because there's usually some hot tips in this area too. So I want to ask you from what are some of the best resources that have really helped you along the way?
The best resources for me are actually looking and sort of modeling people that I want to actually already be. So great sort of thing. So you can try to follow everybody and all you're going to do is get overwhelmed. So pick 2 or 3 people that you actually want to be. And look, there's no right or wrong answer. I had somebody once who said to me, oh, I want to do this and this and this. And I'm like, hang on a second. They're all great tactics. Pick one. Because they're totally you're trying to do all of them at the same time. You're never going to get any of them done. So pick 1 or 2 people that you do, model them, and then follow how they do things, and actually use them as your resource base. Don't try to go too wide. Look at the ones that you actually want to be the next whoever that person is.
Yeah, great suggestion. I model success, right? In our industry, people I have found sort of the hardest to work with as clients are those that want to reinvent the wheel. And there are some sort of successful strategies within, the automation world that just work. And it's not, I didn't come up with it. I've modeled from somebody else who's probably modeled from somebody else to show that that process works. And some of the, just to tell you, some of the hardest people are artists to work with in our industry because they want to always create new things. But marketing isn't always about creating a brand new path. Like, use the one that works, and you can totally create brand new things in your artwork and in the things that you do. But modeling is a really good thing. One of the women that I studied through the Coaching Institute, she teaches modeling, and she wanted to be like Tony Robbins, to the point where she started modeling literally everything he did. And now she's super successful running a massive coaching business. And it was through her focus, like you said, don't go too wide, but focusing on one person and like just modeling all sorts of things that he did, from his business model to the way he presents to the way he interacts with people. And now she's got a massively successful coaching business with it's a whole institute really. So yeah, what a great tip. So who were the sort of people that you have actually modeled?
So for me, I actually modeled originally Alex Mandossian. He sort of isn't very well known anymore, but has been around for, I think, 20 years as an internet marketer. He's from one of the very beginnings. I had the pleasure of meeting him in person when I first got introduced to him. So, and I found that he was, he got me and I got his particular style. After that, I then moved on to Jeff Walker, and then Stu McLaren is sort of but the one that I actually wanted to be, and the one that I actually once was asked, what do you want to get out of a mastermind? And this particular mastermind, I said, I want to be the next Justin Livingston, because if anyone who knows Justin Livingston, he's the behind the scenes strategist for a lot of the internet marketers, but he's a very, very good one, good, excellent person as well. And that particular mastermind, he was going to be at. And I walked away actually working with him. So I was like, I'm very, very happy about that one.
Yeah. So. Isn't it great when you get to work with those people that you look up to and aspire to be? I've been really lucky. A few of the people I've had 3 women on my vision board. This is so funny that we're talking about this, about modeling, because I have had 3 women on my vision board since the early days of starting this business. And I've only got one person left that I still have not yet spoken to or interviewed. But one now I've interviewed and I work with in a partnership. The other one I actually teach within her academy now. And now the third one, I don't think she knows I exist just yet, but give it time. And I was talking to my team the other day and I said to them, oh, look, I've marked 2 of my 3 off. I said, next, let's just aim big and go Oprah. So why not? Right?
Yeah, you could be the next, was it Brene Brown? I think
Brene Brown. Oh, yeah, she's amazing.
Brene Brown, sorry, thank you. I'm very bad with names. But absolutely. I mean, if you don't actually visualize it and you don't sort of have that vision, how do you know you get there? And like, how do you know you're even on the right path? Yep. So yeah, totally get that. You sort of manifest what you actually focus on.
That's it. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Next question is, what is one common myth you would like to debunk about your industry?
That's the very obvious one. The Skynet one, the whole AI is scary, and that it's going to take over the world. Artificial intelligence is a tool, and like anything else, it's very, very good when used well. And it's not so great when it's not so well used well. So AI is fantastic at doing the grunt work for stuff. So it's great for doing processing, taking over and facilitating automation. So working in conjunction with a lot of what you do, doing that really heavy lifting grunt work for it. But it's consistent. It's a processor, and it's that type. Whereas us as AI, as humans, we are messy, we are inconsistent, but we're geniuses at what we do. So if we couple the two together, you actually get magic. So get the AI to do the grunt work, and you get the humans to do the finessing and to provide the polish or the sparkle, as to use your term. And that's where ultimately AI is a tool like anything else. It's like a hammer. You've got to you've got to learn how to use it properly for it to be effective for you. But otherwise, it's like being like anything with this, change can be scary. Totally get that. But ultimately, AI can be so effective for you if used well.
Yeah. As soon as you said Skynet, Terminator 2 was one of my favorite movies growing up. I think I watched it over and over and over again. I had the hots for Eddie Furlong with the little fringe.
Yeah, I have heard it. I'm actually a bit more of the original one, Terminator, the original one for me. But I love the whole all the Terminators and that side of it. But the whole concept of Skynet, people get it when I say it.
Yeah, right. There's another one. What is it called? Westworld, with all of the robot. That one as well. That's a pretty cool show. I know we've kind of gone off on a tangent there. Like, what are we watching on Netflix right now? But
we can pretty much show that both of us are sci-fi geeks.
Totally right. Next we'll be talking about Star Wars and Star Trek and who's the winner. Uh-oh.
That could be a dangerous topic.
I know. It's like religion for some people, right?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit. Look, I love Star Wars, but I must admit I'm a diehard Trekkie. In
Oh,
fact,
okay. Yeah,
this
no,
is
we can totally be friends now. I was a little bit worried there where you were going, but
uh,
me too. I've watched
and
them
so
all.
much so that I've actually been on the Star Trek cruise 3 times, and so yeah, I'm a diehard closet Trekkie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember watching my mum watch Star Trek growing up, thinking, "Oh, what a load of rubbish!" And she made me sit down and watch the Next Generation, and then I fell in love with it and watched them all. We started buying all the box sets on DVD back in the day and had them all lined up. So huge fan, and my mum had them all on VHS, like every single episode of all of the Star Treks. So it took up literally nearly a whole room. We've gone off on all sorts of tangents here.
We
All right.
have.
Next sparkle question is, if you could step into my shoes, what's one question that you would have asked yourself?
Oh, I think I think we actually talked. We sort of worked on that with the what's your passion and that side of it. And I think Star Trek is actually one of mine. Um, for me, the I think the only other question I think is how, like, I've been in business for 21, well, almost 22 years actually next month, with my other company. How can you do that? How can you be an entrepreneur and that sort of thing? Because it can be hard, and particularly I know a lot of people at the moment are doing it tough. I think both of us are in lockdown at the moment, and there's a number of other people in Australia who are, and it can be very difficult to get through. And I think one thing to be for me, the thing I've learned over the years about that is be kind to yourself. If you need to take a break, do it. If something, is so super urgent, it's going to cost you your business, okay, take care of it. But if, for everything else, it can wait till tomorrow, or it can wait till after the weekend. And don't be, hard on yourself about it, because I think we actually put so much guilt and pressure on ourselves that should be actually funneled more into actually working on it, being either our family, our business, or both. And, taking that time out, and knowing it is me recharging myself, and not actually neglecting the business, which is the different mindset that people can sometimes have. I think is really probably one of the most fundamental things that I've learnt as a business owner of the years.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That is absolutely perfect timing, because I've had a really tough month. And just hearing that, like every time I would like go and sit down just to watch Netflix, I had this horrible feeling that I'm neglecting my business, but I'm actually recharging. And perfect timing for that advice right now, because I've had a couple of those days where I have had to step away, because it's been about a tough month really here in the Sparkle world. It's one of the toughest months we've had. But I had to step away. And this is why we keep going, is because we do take that time out. So thank you for the reminder. That was
Don't
really,
forget that
really
this is
great.
a marathon, not a
Yes.
sprint.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you keep treating it as a sprint, you will burn yourself out. And the one thing that will happen, very pretty much guaranteed, is that you will collapse.
Yeah.
And that may be the cost of your business.
Yeah.
So take the time when you can, and be kind to yourself.
So beautifully said. I mean, I went through burnout a couple of years ago, and I couldn't work for about 3 months because I just couldn't make the neurons in my brain fire properly. So I know what it's like to get there. And it is super important to be able to allow yourself to step away. And, great thing, most of the time as entrepreneurs, we can say, I want to take the afternoon off, because we don't report to anybody. Right. And once you're lucky enough to have a team, you can take the afternoon off and know that that's running. But most things aren't that urgent, are they, really, that it can't wait until tomorrow? Even though we may tell ourselves that it is, most things aren't. As long as you don't let that doona day turn into a doona month or two, that's where you've got other problems. But I mean, when I
Yeah.
had burnout, I was very lucky. I had a team of people that, were able to help keep at least turning up and making sure the cogs were still turning. But I think it's super important to allow yourself that grace and that time for some mindfulness or Netflixing. So thank you so
Yep.
much for that. I really super appreciate it. All right, my last one always ends with this. Complete this sentence. I am Suzette and I sparkle because. Your turn.
I am Suzette. And I sparkle because I love content, I love information management, and I love making complex systems simple.
Oh, love it. I think this is why we keep catching up together all the time is we love the complex stuff. That's what
Yeah.
gets me most excited. The easy stuff, I'm like, oh, somebody else can do that. And I
We
think
need our
that's what,
brains to be switched on.
yeah, I love a good problem. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what problem am I going to have to solve today? And that's I think what keeps me going is those types of complex problems that you can fix for people, right? And simplify their lives. But I think that's why we keep connecting and we keep jumping into calls and
Totally.
we've had some really great business referrals. I mean, my brand new Facebook ads guy, it came through a referral from you and a trusted referral as well. And I have to say, thank you. He's working out amazingly.
He is very, very good. I knew
He
you'd
is.
get along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Anyway, before we go, where do you hang out? Where can people learn more about you? And I do remember that you actually said you've got something special available for the sparklers out there in the world.
Do. So I hang out. So the best, easiest way to get a hold of us is pretty much Simple Marketing AI. Above sort of thing is our website. So we actually, and I'll come back to the special offer in a second, but the other ones we hang out in Facebook, and I'm also predominantly a lot on LinkedIn. We're actually doing a lot of work with bigger organizations at the moment. So I'm doing some, so you'll see. And if anyone actually goes onto my LinkedIn profile and looks at some of the posts, pretty much all of them have been written by the AI initially.
Wow.
Even today's one, which is on a very compliance communication. So it's not probably the most interesting of posts, but it is particularly for some people. But even that was originally written by the AI, and I just polished it afterwards.
Nice.
So that's where I hang out. And the offer that we have at the moment is that you can also do the same as me, which is get your LinkedIn articles done in about 5 minutes as opposed to 1 or 2 hours. We've got a special offer where for everyone who's coming through Sally's, if you go to go.simplemarketing.ai/Sally, you'll actually get a 1 month free to our Teams account. So that gives you the ability to bring in up to 5 people, or the 5 of you in the team, and you'll be able to generate quite a lot of content in that month. And at the end of the month, you won't lose the account. You'll just either continue to pay for the Teams account or you'll drop down to our free account. Either way, all the content you generate in that month is entirely yours. It is your copyright, and it will continue to be available to you after that point.
Wow, what an amazing offer. And we were talking before about, coming up with your content ideas and mapping and planning everything out. And they're going to be able to use the software for a whole month. At that higher level. That's a really awesome deal. So anyone who is thinking about getting on that, I would totally jump onto that. So it's go.simplemarketing.ai/Sally. And we'll make sure to put that into the show notes, as well as wherever this is streaming. We'll also make sure to go back and edit and drop the link in there as well for you guys. Well, thank you so much, Suzette. This was, as always, awesome to catch up and geek out over some techie things with you.
It's always a pleasure catching up with you, Sally. I love it.
Yeah, you're an amazing lady. And, you've been in business for so long and doing so well. And you're such an inspiration to lots of other women out there in the world. So thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much for having me, and right back at you about all of those things too. I'm in awe of what you're doing as well.
Thank you, darling. All right, guys. Well, that is our last episode today for our podcast, Batching Day. If you ever want to join us on Batching Day, you can certainly join at sparkleclubhouse.com. As well as that, we give you loads of other great resources when it comes to your marketing and your customer experience that you create for people. So if you'd like more information on that, head to sparkleclubhouse.com. But we have had an absolutely amazing day today with ending up with Suzette. And also earlier on today, we were able to interview the beautiful Tokara. And my buttons are not working over here. I'm going to click it. There we go. So we've had some great guests. Now, we do podcast batching day usually every second Friday. So in another 2 weeks, we've already booked our next lineup. I believe we've got 4 people lined up next Friday week from here now, 2 weeks away. Pop it into your calendar and keep an eye out on social, Facebook and Instagram. We'll always put up some ads there to let you know who is coming. And if you want to actually listen to the edited version of these, then they will be slowly being published over on Apple Podcasts and Libsyn, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all the places that you can listen to podcasts. Just look for Straight Talk with Sally. And as always, guys, it is an absolute pleasure to turn up for you today. Make sure you never let anyone, nobody ever dull your sparkle, and get at least one income producing activity done each and every day. Until next time, bye guys.